And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Beautiful day out today. 73 degrees what I'm showing right now. I have got the glasses on because I need to read to you this morning. Important breaking news happened yesterday. I got Four had sent Juju and I guess something that came across Twitter.
Yeah.
That the House had gutted House Bill 91, which was a bill about autism in education, if I'm not mistaken. And it became the new House bill. This was a substitute, and the short title was Accountability and Fair Play in Athletics. I'm going to tell you what House Bill 91 says, summarizing, of course. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. I'm going to play you some audio from last night. There was a Zoom conference for media. I'm going to play you just to make sure that I don't misrepresent what was said. I think when you play everything in context,
yes,
you make your own decisions. Mm-hmm. Don't you agree?
I do.
I was late getting into it because I had to record for the Lincoln County Apple Festival last night for the pageant contestants. I do that for them. When the girls do their evening gown competition, there's music playing, and they read a little bio of why they're there and that kind of thing. So for the past 2 years, I've done a recording for them and produce it and then just give it to them. And so I've had to do that the past 2 Tuesday nights, half a group each time. So I didn't realize this Zoom call was coming down. It came down quickly. Mm-hmm. There were about 30 members of the media and or administrators, persons that are on the board of directors that was on the call last night.
That's not a lot, does it?
It was very last minute.
Yeah.
I mean, this news started breaking about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon mm-hmm. with some live feeds from the state capitol. And then this was kind of put together kind of as a response. And then they're meeting again today.
And I think the governor's speaking today. I don't know if he's going to talk about this.
I think this is going to happen. I think this is a done deal. But I'll give you as many details as I can. Richie, good morning. Sherry, good morning. Glad to have you guys.
And we have an NBA champion.
The Bucks, one of very few that's ever come from 2 games down to win in 4 straight.
Yeah. First time in 50 years.
For the Bucks.
Does
that go back to Lou Alcindor?
It does.
Kareem
It was Kareem and Oscar Robertson and Bob Dandridge.
Okay.
They had a good team back in the 70s, 50 years ago. 71, I think, is the last time they won the championship. And I guess your homework will be not today, but obviously in the future, is to pronounce Giannis's last name correctly.
I can.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
The Greek Freak.
It's like Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. Whatever you said, that's exactly right. The other big breaking news that happened yesterday, and you had shared this with me as well, with the COVID situation. Now, there's a lot of things going on in the background that we don't know. This is just some of the stuff that's coming out. Mm-hmm. And we will have Bill Bender down at the bottom of the hour. Division II, the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, mandates that players, coaches, staff be fully vaccinated.
And they are the
first conference.
Yes, they're the historically black college universities, South Carolina, Georgia, different places.
And Lenoir-Rhyne, to my knowledge, was the first college or university, at least in this region, that has mandated every student and everybody that's on campus will be vaccinated.
Yeah, it's one of the first that I've heard as well. And they've been met with some, blowback mm-hmm. from people in the community. We'll see what happens. And I've reached out to a couple players that I know, haven't heard back from them. I know this is their week off. They're going to start reporting in another 10 days.
I'm just going to say that an athlete in another sport at Lenoir-Rhyne was mandated to be vaccinated before they come back to play.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be all athletes.
I'm just saying, before this was announced that the college itself would do it, I think the athletes were already
And at the
told.
at the SEC Media Day yesterday, one of the players spoke up, was very open, said, I don't think the vaccine is safe enough, and he said he's not going to take the vaccine.
Well, here's what's going to happen, and if you've been following it in the news, they're less than 30 days away from what I understand of getting full FDA approval, not emergency use approval like they have now, but full FDA approval. Now, when that happens, you're going to have very little to push back on, because then it's no different than getting the measles vaccination or the polio or anything else. And when you went to school, there are certain vaccinations, even when you went to college. If you didn't have them when you were in regular school, you had to get them before you go on campus. So I don't think any of that's going to slow down or stop. Is it right or wrong? I'm not going to say. I'm just saying I think it's coming. But that's a conference that went on record.
And they didn't play last year, that league. They canceled their season early last summer. So they did not play at all.
They didn't play in the spring?
They didn't play in the spring. They did not play at all.
Okay.
They were one of, about half of the Division II conferences in the country did not play at all.
Once again, we gave you this yesterday. SEC says 14. There's 14 teams. 6 of the 14 have reached the 80% mark.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be more push on this. I think that's kind of around the corner, whether you like it or not. I think that's going to be a part of it. We'll just have to wait and see.
What happens if a star player says, I don't want to do this. I don't believe in this. It's a religious type thing. What do you do?
You can't. I don't think you can call this one on a religious side. Maybe. There are certain religions that do not believe in vaccinations, and I don't know how that's handled.
Because there will be a few that, for whatever reasons, moral, ethical reasons, they don't want to take the vaccine. I mean,
I don't know. Richie said, did you see that UNC has approved its athletes to use the logo for NIL? I have not seen that.
No.
They're all going to do it because they can sell more shirts. If they approve the use, they get to sell more shirts.
Yeah.
Just like Michigan did.
Yeah.
So it's coming. There's the other thing.
The quarterback at Alabama, they said that they announced it yesterday at the media day that they believe he has made already $1 million in name, image, and likeness. Bryce, is it Bryce? What's his last name? Quarterback, number 9.
I try not to keep up with Alabama. Sorry.
But he's made $1 million already.
Doesn't surprise me.
And
that's just what he's reported.
That's what. Well, I don't know if he's reported.
Todd, good morning.
If he said that or not, that's half of that goes to the government, right? In every state you play in, you have to pay state taxes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he better have some good accountants
on those away games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, not when he plays in. Only if the jerseys are sold there. Sales tax, which is what we're talking about.
Well, if he signs autographs or something when they play Georgia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now that's different.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Go. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Rick Mitchum, good morning. Kerry Edwards, good morning. The other story that you sent me yesterday, and I responded to this honestly, and I'm a Clemson fan.
As you always do.
I'm not pulling punches. Clemson coach Dabo Swinney said Tuesday neither he nor his players are in favor of expanded 12-team college football playoff, but he also knows that change is inevitably coming to the format. In his first news conference since the managers authorized commissioners to move forward, Swinney said he was not surprised at the move to add more teams, but noting he was also against a 4-team playoff. So what he's saying is he doesn't want 12, but he doesn't want 4.
Maybe he just doesn't want to play off at all.
No, I don't think that's it. And he's very right on this comment. He said, and to be honest with you, I don't know if there's 12 teams good enough. And there probably isn't at this point.
At this point.
Yeah. Now, in my response, and I told you, it's going to hurt recruiting because that opens the door for more teams to possibly make it into the playoffs. So instead of going and being a person sharing a position at Clemson or Alabama or LSU or Notre Dame, I can go to Wisconsin or Oklahoma or Florida and be the number 1 person and make that team stronger. I think that's as big a concern with anything.
Yeah, we're such in a territory right now where we just don't know how everything's going to work out. But What is the old line about you're only as strong as your weakest link?
That's correct.
So if you have 12 teams, you want the bottom 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to be as strong. That way, we're looking at equity here, but make sure that the number 12 team or number 10 team or 8 or 9 have some type of more of a level playing field.
That's correct.
To advance on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what they're looking at long term, I would say.
And that's the only way you're going to make this thing survive.
Yeah.
That's what makes the NFL one of the most attractive sports to watch, because there is pretty good parity.
There is.
Inside the league. You still have some bottom feeders, but I would say 75% of the league can at least have an opportunity to make it.
Yeah, and
Kenny Weaver, good morning.
And the teams that are good consistently throughout are the teams that are well run. They're well run organizations.
Yep. All right, let me take a quick break. When I come back, we'll get right into the High School Athletic Association thing. I'll give you the high notes from the House bill. I've got a clip I'm going to play. Brian Hanks was on the call last night. He asked a question, and I want you to hear the response, and you make your own decision on what was said. I don't want to misinterpret anything, don't want to give you my view, so if I give you the audio, you make your own decision. Back in a moment.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. Welcome back. I'm going to give you the interview first because we've got Bill Bender coming up in just about 15 minutes. Andrea, good morning. Stephen Lowe, good morning. So this was last night. There was a Zoom call that members were asked if they would like to participate in, and I took advantage of that. And this is at about 40 minutes. It was an hour and 3 minutes. They took a number of questions from media members. But this is about 41 minutes into it, and Brian Hanks, you've heard Brian on here. Brian's a good friend. Brian asked 2 questions. I'm going to let you hear those 2 questions. And then I'm going to let you hear the response so that there's no mistake of what was said and not said, not left up from interpretation from me. Here we go.
Okay, Q, thank you for doing this, James. Thank you. I have 2 questions, and then both of them are for you, Q. You did a good job of explaining how we've gotten to this point. Why do you think that we have gotten to this point right now, Q? And then my second question would be, if House Bill 91 is passed, I've had a chance to read through it a few times now, tangibly for the layman, what does that mean for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association?
Q, you'll need to unmute.
My fault. I would like to say that perhaps we've gotten to this point partly. I'd like to be able to blame it, Brian, on COVID. I think COVID had a way of causing angst in the general public that put everything out when we were not able to play, when we had limited fans in the stands, and when it gave the appearance that the NCHSAA, meaning I as the commissioner, because that's what everybody thought, all that I had to do was just simply to reach out to Governor Cooper or to Dr. Cohen and say, we need to open up our facilities now that football is about to start. That because we were not able to do the things that the general public wanted us to do immediately, once we were able to start, everybody thought we made that turn when football was about ready to begin at the end of February. It wasn't happening fast enough. I think that caused some issues. I think we can go back even further than that, Brian. I think some of this started back in 2019 when we had a school that was in Senator McGinnis's area of the state that did not make the playoffs, and he shared that with. I think he's shared that with others. Perhaps with Nick on High School OT. He talked about the fact that one of his teams in his area did not make the playoffs. So I think that bothered people. I think when you have an organization that sometimes has to say no to people, when you have an organization that has rules and regulations that will sometimes have to penalize folks, I think that concerns people. And people do not like to be said no to. I think our school people will tell you that, you know, one of the hardest things they deal with now is when they say no to a parent, is that parents simply just will not take no to mean no. And I think that's part of what has happened as we've gone along. There have been some times when we've said some things that have meant no, or have meant that it would bar a team from making the playoffs due to it being in violation of one of our rules. I think the COVID fatigue and all that happened with that sort of created a perfect storm, if you would say. And then, Brian, I don't mind to say that I think our good fortune, and you can spin that in the way you like, the fact that the investments that we've had over time have done extremely well. It causes people to not like the fact that our investments have done well, and they want that money to be expended perhaps in a faster manner, or they don't understand sometimes, especially the general public. They don't understand the process. Our membership doesn't truly understand that $41 million does not mean we have $41 million sitting in a closet somewhere where we can put our hands on. And so that's on us to do a better job of that if we have that opportunity to be able to kind of explain what $41 million in net assets means. It doesn't mean that I can go and get that money. That's not how it works. And so I think we are, sort of a victim of our good fortune, so to speak, and that bothers people at this point in time. And so that it has just all sort of come together. The other part of what was the second component of that?
Just asking you tangibly for folks who may not have read HB 91, what does that mean? If it is passed, what does that mean to the North Carolina High School Athletic Association?
Well, I think first, and Vice President Jackson alluded to it quite well. It means that in a year's time, if our staff as it currently exists, I as the commissioner, in 1 year's time would no longer sit in these positions unless somebody appoints us. As I read the language, there will be a 1 year lame duck. It would be a lame duck year for this staff, and I would imagine our board of directors. It would mean that in 22-23, there would be a new regime, and that they would then work closer, I guess, with the State Board of Education, and that essentially, our staff members would not be able to do what we do. I also read in that language that if it passes, the only way that we would be able to function for 21-22, which, as you all know, is just a couple of weeks away, that we would have to agree to some conditions that they have put in. One of those being that we would no longer fine schools, and that we would, there was another clause they had in there, but essentially that we would have to meet, or that we would agree to an audit. And I'm guessing it would be an audit from the state, because we already have an external audit, a third-party audit every year. So that if we were to say, well, no, we're not doing that, then the State Board of Education would have to, I guess, indicate another entity to govern our athletics for 21-22. As I read it, in the short amount of time I've had to read it, that's what I've gleaned from it, Brian. So, there are some major implications, I think, for the 427 member schools right now, if this does pass.
Now, you heard that, and I'm not, as I said, I wanted to play in its entirety. And the first thing that I'll say, and I asked Juju this, you could see we were kind of chatting here while this was playing. I've got investments. You've got investments. I don't know of an investment that I can't go get. May have to pay a penalty, depending on what it is.
Some are more liquid than others, as they say.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it made it sound like, yeah, we got these assets, but we can't do anything with them. That was kind of the interpretation that I got. The last part that it would affect, I think she said the 427 members. Okay. I'm going to do some rough math here. I think that it was requested because of the hardships that were put on schools. What if we dipped into that endowment fund and we wrote each member, that 427 members, we wrote them a check for $20,000, which is about half of what most areas it costs to run them. Now, a Charlotte Mac, a Wake, much, much more. And I'm just thinking like associations kind of our size around here.
Just say round it up to 400 instead of 427.
Well, at 400, that would be $8 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
41 minus 8. Right? Is that right? Does that leave 33?
33.
Okay. And I just can't imagine that you don't have 25% of your assets that would be somewhat liquid.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, and the other side of it, and this has been the other thing.
25% would be about $10 million, right?
And this is the other thing that people have said. Why do you have that much money? Well, nobody's mad because you've done well on your investments, but investments for what?
Yeah, I mean, what's the end game there?
They do a few scholarships.
They do.
They're not eating up $40 million. And I'm happy that their investments have done well. That's not the point. The point is, where is it coming back to benefit the member schools? There's an audit done. She said there's an audit done every year. Well, can I get that? I don't think I can. I think I've got to be a member of the schools. If you go look at House Bill 91, one of the things that it says in here, sorry, I got to put my glass on because I can't see. One of the things that it says in here is annually, by December 1st, to the Joint Legislative Education Oversight Committee and State Board of Education, all the activities will be reviewed, a copy of the most recent audit conducted by the state auditor, copy of the current fees charged, current balance of the high school interscholastic athletic fund, and the amount of interest accrued on the fund the previous year, and from the prior fiscal year, the total of the commission's expenses, including percentage of those expenses expended on personnel costs, the amount of fees and gate receipts. Okay? All that would be done, and if it's state, it's available. It's state dollars that's paying for it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the rules that they want to adapt, the rules that they want to adapt will basically be the same rules that we have now, okay, as far as how everything's going to be structured. I do want to get more into the fees, and one of the key things in here is if the total amount they have in the bank is 250% or 2.5 times their budget, they start cutting fees 20% and giving it back to the schools. They don't want to amass $40 million with their good investments.
Not a nonprofit. No, you don't want to do that.
So
401, 501c, whatever.
Now, my personal opinion, we're swinging way too far. And I got to take a break, got to get Bill on here. But my personal opinion, we're swinging too far. We're up here. Instead of let's slide back to the middle, maybe go just a little bit past, we go, hey, we're going to get out of this commission that doesn't really tell us a whole lot of things, even though they say they do, and then we're going to go to the state where they're just going to kill us with people.
Yeah, and for a state,
oversight.
They can't do a budget. For the last
they haven't had a budget in 2 years. Just in case. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't play favorites in who I kick around. Kick around everybody. Let me take a break. I'll be back.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. In the best of times, times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. And welcome back to the Bottom Line. Lanny Ford along with you here this morning. Juju Phillips. We'll go to our phones. We've missed him a couple of weeks. Different things going on. We appreciate him taking the time to join us. Bill Bender, Sporting News. Bill, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Lanny. How you doing?
Doing great. Let me ask you a question. This came out yesterday, and I'd like to get your take and see if you see it kind of spreading and expanding. It was announced yesterday that one conference in Division II has mandated that everyone involved with sports be vaccinated. The first conference to come out and make that kind of statement. We've seen the SEC and SEC Media Days say there will be no postponements in games. If you're not vaccinated and you have a problem, you're going to forfeit games. So my question to you is, do you see this expanding in requiring vaccinations? And the other side of that is, if you get vaccinated, are they going to stop testing and we're just going to pretend like it's not here?
Well, I mean, I think Greg Sankey's not so veiled warning was, you have to be vaccinated or we're going to forfeit. And I think that's the way to do it. I mean, at this point with the variant surges and seeing numbers go up, and I mean, the science is what it is, and regardless of your personal beliefs on the vaccine, I think if you want to play, that's fine. You can have personal beliefs. But if you want to play football and you want to play in the SEC or some of these FBS conferences and you want to do it safely, I think you should be vaccinated. That's just where I stand on it.
And here's the thing, Bill. This is the part that I guess that frustrates me about this is that, okay, we're going to get vaccinated. Now, the other thing that I think needs to happen, let's just say that they all do, then we need to stop at some point, come up with a line drawn in the sand on the testing. And the reason I say that, we went back to last year's World Series. You had a player pulled off in the last game of the 7th inning from the field because a test came back positive. It's too late then. We had John Rahm that had to withdraw after 3 days in a 4-day tournament in golf. Well, he had already been around everybody. So my thing is, if you're going to test and everybody's been vaccinated, if you test on Monday, we don't do any more testing till that game's over, because you can't have these last-minute surprises. You can't have it both ways, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we'll hopefully find a way where they can do that effectively. I know it's the best thing to do at this point. And I'm anticipating that the Big Ten tomorrow at Media Day, that's where I'm headed tomorrow, has a similar view. I'm sure that the Pac-12 and ACC, I believe ACC gets started today. Similar viewpoint, I'm sure, that everybody's going to say, hey, we need to get everybody vaccinated. We need to hit that 85% threshold. We need to avoid something that like what happened with NC State
Mm-hmm.
in the
World Series.
That'd
Yep.
be disastrous if it happened
Yeah.
during the season.
And that's another example. Once you start the competition and everybody's been around, it's a little late to start worrying about what's going on.
Hey, Bill, as you look ahead to the media days, and we heard a little bit yesterday from some of the ACC coaches, I guess Dabo Sweeney and now Mac Brown has said that they're not really in favor of the 12-team playoff. What have you heard about some of the other coaches and from some of the other conferences like the Big Ten?
I mean, we'll hear from them tomorrow, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll all be asked. But, I mean, I'm sure it'll be split. I mean, there'll be teams that like the 12-team playoff. There's teams that won't like the 12-team playoff. And it's, but I think in general, the consensus among coaches that is going to be that it's good for college football to expand and not have the same teams in the playoff every year. And that's where we've been stuck. I think we're going to be stuck in that for another year this year with Oklahoma, Ohio State, Clemson, and Alabama.
When you look at, we're talking about Bill Bender from Sporting News. I made the comment to Juju when he shared that tweet with me yesterday about what Dabo said. To me, I think it starts to become a little more of a recruiting challenge because you've got some other teams out there that can possibly make the playoffs. You take a player that's going to maybe share duties at Clemson or at Ohio State, they can go to Wisconsin or Oklahoma or Texas or LSU and not have to share duties in a position, and that way it starts to give a little more parity. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think over time it will improve the competition.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, like you said, it wouldn't happen overnight, but over a couple cycles, if more teams are in the playoffs, it gives players more incentive to go to other places. I mean, if it's still, I mean, Mike Corsi, our college basketball writer, and I were kind of debating this the other day. He still thinks, they go to the colleges to get to go to the playoff and those kind of things. I still think they go to the colleges to get ready for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and it's probably a combination of both. So, to me, it's until some of these places develop NFL talent better than the powerhouses, I don't see things changing that much.
Hey, Bill, what are some of the major storylines you were talking about? You're going to the Big Ten Media Days. What are some of the major storylines heading into those media days?
Well, I think the overarching thing is, who's going to catch Ohio State? Can anybody catch Ohio State? Is it even going to be a contest this year? That's one big one. And then obviously Michigan and Nebraska with Jim Harbaugh and Scott Frost. I mean, the usual columns will get written about whether or not they can break through. I think Indiana's a good story. It continues to be a good story with Michael Penix and Tom Allen, and they're bringing their best guys to media day, so that's kind of a cool thing too.
Bill, we crowned a new NBA champion last night. Let me get your thoughts on Milwaukee coming back. They lost the first two, won 4 straight, did it on an away game. Was it the fact that the Suns just wore out, or did we really see the Greek Freak step up to another level?
No, I think he finally stepped up to that level, and good for him. It's good for the NBA. Good, a team like Milwaukee, which hadn't won a NBA championship since 1971, was able to celebrate that. So I think good for the NBA. It's a peek into, I don't think it's at least for a couple more years, but it's a peek into what life after LeBron for the NBA might look like. There are some other superstars out there like Devin Booker, Giannis, and several others.
One final question before we let you go. Your thoughts on how this whole Neal thing is starting to play out? Seems like to be a lot of money passing around. We're seeing colleges that are agreeing to allow their logos to be part of that. Well, it only makes sense if you put a kid's name and number on the back and your logo's on the front, you still get the jersey sale.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. I think you're seeing some good deals. I mean, Nick Saban's probably going to get some questions about what he said yesterday at the Texas Coaches Convention about Bryce Young getting close to 7 figures. that seems a little high, but, who knows? And that's where we're at. I don't think it's gotten out of hand yet, but the potential for it to get out of hand is there. But in general, I think if you're just looking at like jersey sales and those kind of things, and the athletes get a portion of that, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
And Bill, I'm of the age, and I'm the dinosaur here, of getting ready for a college football season. I like to put my hands on those preseason magazines. And I know in the past you've written for, I think, Street and Smith, and that's one of the oldest, and that's one I remember growing up and always getting. Are they still, is Street and Smith still doing that this year? And if they are, when are they coming out with it?
Yeah, as painful as it is, they didn't have a yearbook this year. So that was one of my favorite things to do. But unfortunately, we didn't have a magazine this year. And, if you want to read our content, I got all mine in one spot online. I tried to make it like that, as close to a magazine as possible, because I'm the same way. I like to have the magazines in my hand and flip through them and all that kind of stuff. And it's just unfortunate that we don't have it this year.
Okay.
Bill Bender, Sporting News. Have a good trip. We'll catch up hopefully next week and get the what's going on with the Big Ten, and maybe there's some exciting news coming out of that.
Yeah, good to be back on with you guys this week. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks Bill. Appreciate it. Bill Bender, Sporting News. Media Days going on
No
all
Street and Smith
around.
magazine. I remember picking.
What's a magazine?
I remember picking. You can go to a grocery store and get them. Yeah, a bunch of them. I just remember growing up at a time in the mid '70s, getting a Street and Smith magazine, seeing Tony Dorsett, Dan Marino's picture on the front of the magazine, and just saying, "I love this stuff."
Tree killer, telling you what. Miss Kay, good morning. TJ said the issue I wish Tucker would address is transparency. She tried to in part of that, and I'll put a link up to the whole thing for people to listen. Andrew Mooney, good morning. Barry Drum, good morning. Let me take a break. We come back, we'll have more.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
In the best of times, times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a Wednesday, hump day morning. Yeah, I'm coming. There we go. Just booked a guest for Friday. Nick Stevens, high school OT out of WRAL in Raleigh, is going to join us here about 8:10 on Friday morning.
I wonder if he is related. I think he probably obviously is. There was a longtime reporter in the Raleigh area for WRAL, Rick Stevens. Is it Rick Stevens?
Maybe.
I think so.
We can check him out.
I think he's in the. I even think he's in the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame or some kind of Hall of Fame.
Professor, glad to have you this morning, Michael Powell. Butch Parker said, FYI, he has sent a message to the Catawba Valley Athletic Conference, the new conference that Maiden's in next year, to the AD, suggesting that each member school contact their LEA for guidance immediately in response to this legislation. Immediate action instead of inaction. The way everything kind of came down, Butch, I don't know.
And they have a final vote on this when?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's still committee, but I'm not sure. But I think it's almost a done deal kind of thing. We'll just have to kind of wait and see how it plays out. I just wanted to make you updated about it, want to give you actual facts. And like I say, I'll post a link so that you can listen to the questions and everything that was addressed as we go through. Now, here's another thing, and I don't know the dollars and cents part of this, but I thought this was something that was pretty good. This thing would be called the North Carolina High School Interscholastic Athletic Commission. But one of the things when you talk about fees, the commission shall adopt reasonable annual fees for participant schools as needed to support the duties of the commission, including fees associated with student catastrophic insurance coverage. Annual fees may vary based on the division of which the school is assigned. The association or commission would deposit fees from participating schools and gates receipts. Interest accruing is credited to the fund. The commission administers the fund and may use the fund to support the work of the commission if the fund reaches a balance that is 250% of the commission's total expenses from the prior fiscal year. That would be 2.5 times their budget. The commission shall reduce the annual fee to participating schools by a minimum of 20%. The commission may increase annual fees if the fund reaches a balance that is 150% or 1.5 times the budget from the previous year. All commission funds shall be handled in accordance with the State Budget Act. And the other thing that would be is all of this would be easily accessible public record. because it's
Yeah.
part of the state. And I think that's part of the rub that folks have is the lack of transparency. Now, we were talking about this off the air. I think if you are, like with Butch, if you're an AD, Butch says the committee's meeting today at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, to further discuss this. If you're a member of a participating school, if you're a member school, I think you have access to it, but I think we've heard Hobbs say before, and probably Brian Hanks, that they've never been able to get copies of the audits and what's in there and who makes what and all those kind of things.
So if
from a public school system, I can go see what you make.
Yeah, you can. I
any
have no problem with
any
that.
public employee.
That's right, and I have no problem with that.
And I think that's been the other problem that folks have had with it. And I heard Q, if you listen to the whole thing last night, I heard Q say, I think she has 15 employees, is what's at the High School Athletic Association, full-time employees, I believe is what she said.
Now, you said the committee was going to meet this morning at 11.
Legislative committee on this bill.
But it's a committee. But when will the actual vote?
I don't think we know.
We don't know.
The committee would have to recommend it to the full Senate and House, the whole legislature, I'm guessing.
So it's moving along. And even though we haven't had a budget in 2 or 3 years,
I think it's going to get fast tracked.
You think over a state budget?
Well, please forgive me for my terminology here, but the state budget is just a pissing contest. That's all that is. That is a pissing contest. No, we're not giving you that. Well, we just won't give you anything. That's what that is.
All right.
And this isn't the first time we've not had budgets, regardless of what administration's in there.
Yeah.
Very seldom does the state have a budget to start July 1st.
No, I in at least the 20 years that I've been paying attention, it's been rare.
Right. So anyway, the other thing that I saw in here is there are specific, and I don't know the details, so I can't say if this is the same thing, it's not the same thing. There are specific details in here with time frames on the appeal process, on how it's handled and the amount of time that the appeals board has to respond.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've and this is hearsay, okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it's hearsay. The other thing that they make very clear in here is when there's appeal and there's an appeal heard, there will be a transcript that you can see what was said, why they did it, and where it came up with. So I think those are some of the things that people have been rubbed the wrong way, that they don't like, and it goes back to the transparency thing.
You said earlier in the show it's like a pendulum. It's gone from one side to the other. What is the middle ground then? What is the compromise? If say this were a marriage, what would what would be the compromise?
You know, I guess the compromise. Good morning, Milton. The compromise would be for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association to come back and say, okay, we understand we've had some issues. We would like to continue, but we would like to be more transparent and go back to where we were when Charlie Adams made them a nonprofit organization. They used to be part of the North Carolina university system and were housed in Chapel Hill, I think. Now, if I'm wrong, they were a state
employees.
They were state function, and then they became an independent organization, and I think that's when people had a problem. So if you think about it, if this goes through, we're really just going back to where they were before they became a 503C.
Okay. Let me ask another question. What do other associations in South Carolina and Tennessee and Virginia and Georgia, how is their association structured?
Okay, I watched, and I'll try to get this link too, and we're going to have Nick Stevens on Friday morning. Nick did an interview with the president of the NFHS, the National Federation of High Schools, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about other than they're the ones that come up with the rules, okay, how the rules are interpreted to play the sports. And he asked that question. This is not uncommon to have a divorce.
Yeah.
And not every state is happy with its association. And what we're going through is not different. Now, Butch said, and you're right, Butch, and I heard this yesterday, It's already been declared fast track because it gutted a previous bill concerning autism in public schools.
Yeah.
So this is happening. This is happening, and I'm not convinced it's good. There's some things that I like in it. I just don't like the big upheaval, and I don't like the government having their hand in it completely.
Yeah, getting really involved.
But, I'll go back and I'll make one more comment, and then we'll do on this day. The other comment that I'll say is there have been some votes, and I'm guessing it's in those magical bylaws. And did you know that those bylaws can't be changed? I think you've got to have 125% participation for bylaws to be changed. Yeah, there you got it.
Man.
You got it. Because they keep saying we can't. I mean, I don't like it in this new thing where it says there'll be 4 classifications. There needs to be more than 4 classifications. There's too many schools and too many sizes. That goes back to when I was coaching 25 years ago. But that doesn't matter. There needs to be a way. There was some, lack of a better term, legislation inside the association, and we talked about this. It wasn't for a supermajority, simple majority. It was, if you don't vote, we're casting your vote as a yes or a no.
Yeah.
No. If I don't vote, you don't count my vote. You don't assume what my vote is. And so those are the things that I don't like. And Michael Powell, he's exactly right. Politics will rear its ugly head. Now, Q makes that reference during this news conference last night that, it's going to get politically involved. Some people think not Democrat-Republican politics, but politics are already involved in the High School Athletic Association because of the lack of transparency. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that is one of the things that has been said.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you. Everybody's dirty. And there's politics and backdoor deals done all the time. I don't care where it is and what it is.
Especially
even in church. Church is really bad about that. Just saying.
Yeah.
On this day.
On this day, 1931, the sport of horse betting, the ponies, happened in Reno, Nevada, at a racetrack. They inaugurated, for the very first time in sports history, they believe, was the daily double in the United States in sports betting. And I have know absolutely nothing what a daily double is.
I've never placed a bet on a pony or a dog.
I did place a bet on a dog, and yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
I have never.
Yeah. 1968, and I don't remember how I did it. I just remember
and not because I hadn't wanted to. I just hadn't had that opportunity.
Yeah. 1968 golf, Arnold Palmer, first golfer ever to make $1 million in career earnings. He did so when he finished runner-up in the PGA Championship.
Morikawa made 2.1.
Yeah.
Sunday.
2006, that was over the whole year.
I know.
Yeah. In 2006, Alex Rodriguez had his 2000th career baseball hit, became the youngest baseball player to reach 450 home runs in his career. He had his 2000th hit, which was a home run. It was 450th home run. He was the youngest baseball player to do that. 1973, Hank Aaron became the second major league player to hit 700 home runs in a career.
Wow.
So I'm guessing that would be
him and Babe.
Yeah, him and Babe.
That's it.
Yeah. 1989, Mike Tyson had a technical knockout of Carl the Truth Williams. 1 minute and 33 seconds of the very first round.
If you could take Tyson 3 rounds, you could beat him.
Longer than 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wore out.
He punched himself. Yeah. He did a George Foreman.
Yes.
Those are the 5 big ones I picked out on this day in sports history.
Let me give you a couple here.
Okay.
Quickly. A couple baseball ones because I think these are kind of funny. 1921, Indians and Yankees hit a record 16 doubles in one game.
In one game.
In one game. The Yankees 7, the Indians 9. In 1923, the Phillies scored 12 in the 6th to beat the Cubbies 17-4.
There have been some wild games in baseball this week alone. A lot of high-scoring games.
Yeah. 1945, the Tigers beat the Philadelphia A's. I'm sorry, they didn't beat the Philadelphia A's. They played 24 innings to a 1-1 tie.
Jeez.
1956, Cincinnati Reds Brooks Lawrence loses his first game after 13 straight wins.
Wow.
1957, Althea Gibson becomes the first black woman to win a major – it says first black to win a major U.S. tennis tournament. So I guess she did it.
What year? That was before Arthur Ashe.
57. Arthur Ashe, I guess, would have been the first male.
Yeah.
Let's see. You did some PGAs. You did Hank. I love these. 1975, Billy Martin got fired.
Again?
From the Texas Rangers.
Wow.
He probably could get fired again if he's still alive. Billy had a knack for getting fired. 1991, Rod Carew and Gaylord Perry joined Tony Larizza, Lazzari, Bill Veeck, and Ferguson Jenkins into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1991.
Tony Lazzari, I believe, was member of what they called Murderers Row with the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Played with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
1995, the Kansas City Royals set a club record of 22 singles in 15 innings.
Jeez.
They just couldn't get it done.
That won't happen again.
Just
not baseball. Not nowadays.
No, the game has changed too much. Birthdays?
Birthdays today, guys, say happy birthday. I don't think he has a couple of relatives in the Hickory area now, but his daughter lives in, I believe, South Korea. Catawba County Sports Hall of Famer, the late Ernie Warlick, who I think, in doing research, put him in the Hall of Fame 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. One of the, if not the greatest all-around athletes to come out of Catawba County. Played with North Carolina Central Universities in their Hall of Fame. Was as good a basketball player as he was a football player, and he went on to play in the AFL for the Buffalo Bills. He's in the Buffalo Bills Hall of Fame, and is one may even be in the AFL Hall of Fame.
Wow!
But he was a tight end. They called him the Big Hoss. I'll always remember. He passed away maybe 10 years ago, Lanny, and we were looking for somebody to come speak on his behalf. His teammate in Buffalo, Billy Shaw, who was a lineman, lives down in, I think, North Georgia, drove all the way up here and spoke on his behalf.
Wow.
And he's a heck of a guy. Ernie Warlick, birthday today. Let's see, who else? Billy Napier, the football coach at Louisiana, is 42. Baseball player C.C. Sabathia is 41. David Carr, the first quarterback named Carr, 42 today.
First gloved quarterback, I think, on the throwing hand.
All right, yeah. You've heard of the Matt Hungarian baseball player, Al Hrabosky. He is 72 today. And former baseball shortstop Mike Bordick, mainly with the Baltimore Orioles. He is 47.
Cowboy Bob Orton, born on this day in
Bob
1929, passed away in 2006. Randy Orton, if I'm not mistaken, is his son. Correct.
What about Kyle Orton, the quarterback in the NFL for a long time? No relation.
No relation. Sorry.
All right.
Wrestlers in that crowd. Let's see if there's any others. Scanning. There's a guy named Scrappy, but I don't know him. It's not Scrappy-Doo. It's not even Scooby-Doo. Paul Casey, English golfer. Ryder Cup wins in 04, 6, and 18. 3 PGA Tour titles, 13 European Tour titles. PGA Championship runner-up in 2020. Was born this day in 1977. Kellen Winslow, now in prison for rape, convicted of rape. Football player.
Oh, the son of the great great tight end.
Tight end, yep. And I want to say he was a tight end as well. Now, I may be wrong about that.
You mean the father?
No, the son. He was either a tight end or a wide receiver.
Yeah, he was like a hybrid in between, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Drafted by Cleveland.
That'll do us. We'll do it again tomorrow. This has been really fun today. Have a great day.